the phenyl salicylate data and how to get the freezing point from the graph. Now I've picked some data here. Yours will look similar or maybe a little different, but when you do this in Excel, make sure that you don't highlight the words, the letters, but just the numbers. Excel has a hard time if you do both, it won't give you the correct graph. So click on the first cell, hold it down, and then drag across so that you highlight everything that has all the cells that have data. Note that even though this first cell doesn't look gray, it's still highlighted because you'll see this green box around all of the data, and that tells you that everything is highlighted. Once you have this, go on the menu here and click Insert, and you will see in the middle part here, you'll see the charts. We want something that looks like this with, and if you hover over it, it will say XY scatter or something similar, depending on the version, depending if you have a PC or a Mac and what version of Excel do you have. But click on that little arrow, it will drop down a menu, so it will give you all the different scatter plots here. And let's just pick the scatter. And here is my graph. Now to make this easier, not just easier, but we have to actually label the graphs. We have to label the axes because otherwise we don't know what we're looking at here. So you go under Chart Design, and that's the same. So Chart Design, and find Add Chart Element. So Axis Titles, we want, let's say primary horizontal, that will be your time, and then you fill out time in seconds here. Go back and let's add the vertical, and that will be the temperature in degrees Celsius. Then I can also fill out the chart title where I can say freezing point of salicylate. Okay, something like that. Now, to make this a little easier to see, if you right click right on that or double click on it, either way, it will bring up this menu to the side here. And I have these units. Under units, the major units are 10. Well, let's do 5. And then the minimum starts at 0. So we're starting at 0 for this axis. Let's see if we can start at 35 instead of, because I have nothing for 35 degrees here. So if I do 35 degrees, it will just start the y-axis, the temperature, at 35 degrees and eliminate the 0 to 35. So I can kind of zoom into this graph that I made just so I can see it a little better. And then the last bit that you have to determine from the graph is find where the plateau occurs, which for this one you can see that it decreases, and it comes up, down a little bit here, and then up, and then it kind of stays here. So this will be the flattest part of your graph, will be the temperature that corresponds to the freezing point, because we know that once a liquid starts to freeze, the temperature doesn't change until all of it is frozen. And so here's where that point is. It looks flat. So what you're going to do, and I'm just showing you here, but you can do it with a ruler, I'm going to kind of draw a line, a horizontal line through here, the flattest part of my graph, and then drag this straight. So extend it till it hits my y-axis here and estimate what the temperature is. So it's going to be obviously between 40 and 45, but it looks more like 41.5 to me here, or 42 degrees. So that is then experimentally what the freezing point of salicylate is, and that is the value that I'm going to compare with the given value or the literature value that is provided for you in the laboratory or in the lab instructions. Hopefully this will help you when you are doing the freezing point of salicylate lab graph yourself. If you have any questions, please reach out and ask.